disclaimer before the video begins, all of my opinions were about 8 months ago, and that was not before the 9th episode, but before the 10th episode. So, all of these opinions are kind of outdated because some of my opinions or theories were already either debunked or proven. So, please keep that in mind when you are watching the video. You might think, oh, why aren't you guys referencing to episode 10? That's because episode 10 didn't come out when I created the script. So, yeah. If you want to skip this part and get to the actual analysis of the show, then go to this point in the video. But I think you should stick around just if you wanted to know where I have been for the past 6 months. I kind of want to move away from edit audios because it's not really what I planned for the long run of this channel. It's something else entirely. I wanted to make a fan base, a franchise really, and just didn't know where to start. So for now, I want to make videos like this. Commentaries on YouTube shows, or just normal shows, or maybe just my opinion in general. So yeah, that's kind of the future of this channel. Hello everyone, my name is Pandy, and today I'm going to be doing a commentary for a 100 subscriber special. And I originally had a script, and it's right in front of me, but I'm kind of just gonna add some stuff along with the script, because as of right now it's 11 p.m. and yeah, that's it. So as you probably already know, I love music because there's edit audios everywhere. My most popular video is an edit audio, so you can probably know why I would be talking about the music freaks. I forgot to mention that, but yes, it's about the music freaks. It's because I really liked Rosa Closey, I liked her work, and I was really excited for the music freaks, and I kind of wanted to do a video of my own. So today we're going to be analyzing specifically episode 9, talking about the characters, their motives, why they did certain things. We're also going to be analyzing the specific scene where Jake had said all of those terrible things about his friends, probably shouldn't have said, and lastly I'm gonna make a theory about it, so yeah. The first character I wanted to talk about was Drew, and before I start reading this harsh script about him, I just wanted to say he is clearly not in the wrong here. Now, I know a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but I think he's not all to blame here. I'm mad at him too, but I don't think his motives, I think his motives are pretty clear. He's acting all villain mode because he's jealous. In the first 2 episodes, he thought of it as just a stupid way to ask a girl out. And honestly, seriously, I don't know who wouldn't agree with that. But in like episodes 4 and 3, they didn't really talk about Drew or anything because the story was focusing on the club characters, but we really start to see the jealousy peak in episode 5 when he was kind of asking for his advice about like his girlfriend and how she stopped buying things. Jake was kind of zoned out, and he thought that it was because of the music club was better company than them. And of course, being the main character, Jake reassures them, saying that this is still all just for Daisy, which we all know is a lie, because he definitely had a connection with them, and all that other stuff, but Drew still doesn't feel good about it. So, in episode 9, this is kind of when he started to pressure him, sort of. It seems like he was just he was acting out on jealousy and wanted the relationship they used to have. And I feel like Zoey was exploiting that because he knew that Drew just wanted the relationship that he used to have with Jake. And now Zoey is kind of exploiting that and making him kind of like a villain. Like Zoey takes the competitiveness or the jealousy of Drew and, exploits that to make him sort of a villain. And so that Jake, instead of putting the blame on Zoey, he puts the blame on Drew. I really do want to talk about Zoey, but before we do that, I want to talk about Henry and Andrew. These three were probably once a trio? Maybe? Probably not. But I still think that when they egged Jake on, I didn't think that they were trying to pressure him and, manipulate him or anything. They were probably trying to just be genuine friends, giving him some advice. And Zoey, once again, exploits that. But, I think in episode 10, there will be one of the people who try to help Jake from caving in. Now, I know some people say Andrew's the one who might have recorded it, but I think it's more likely to be Zoey. Speaking of which, let's talk about Zoey. I think she is the real villain of the story. She is the one who's most likely to record the message because, come on, the phone is literally right there. Like, come on, there's no way it cannot be anyone else. Also, I think Drew only wanted him to say that, but not, send it or anything, because, Drew says this specifically. I feel like Drew, all he wanted to do was just, make sure that he wanted to keep Jake in control a little bit, so that Jake could still, be his best friend. However, I think Zoey has more means to record it and ruin their relationship. And I think she's obviously already dating Drew for money and also using him to create probably just some drama. So, yeah. Or the other narrative could be that Zoey's jealous for Hailey's voice and wants Hailey to be embarrassed again by stage fright. Or just ruin the relationship she had with Jake. But regardless, ruin Hailey's life. Now, maybe she has more going on behind the scenes, and maybe we would see that, in episode 10, but for now, she just seems like some controlling, narcissistic gold digger brat. I think Drew might break up with her. But let's talk about our other best friend. Leah isn't that important in the story. In fact, I was originally planning to not make up a whole chapter if it wasn't for this comment on one of these stupid prediction videos that'll never happen. Except this one was kind of accurate and not realistic, sorta, like what I'm doing. Anyway, I think Leah might actually have a backstory in episode 10. I don't think it involves Hailey. It could be about an old friend that reappears in the end. And Leah could also help Jake, and maybe it would remind us of his best friend character, and then maybe at the end of the episode she reunites with her or something like that. And then maybe it also could be a backstory about how Leah is kind of maybe blackmailed to be Zoey's best friend, or I don't know, maybe be just manipulated by her and gaslit by her or something. I don't know. Or maybe she is just best friends with Zoey and she just thinks that she's had enough. But it's one of the two. Alright, now let's talk about the music club. So here we go. First, it'll be Mille, Zander, Luke, Scene, and Hailey. Because the most drama should be for last. First of all, let's do Mille. Mille has always been this headstrong character. So I personally think she was vulnerable around Jake. So it probably hurts way more than probably most, except for Hailey, obviously. But it's probably why it'll be the first and last time we see her cry. I tried to read some of my scripts and I couldn't because my handwriting is absolute doo-doo. But anyway, we're gonna talk about Zander and Luke now. Because they're a couple, I wanted to do them together. So we're gonna talk about Zander first. So now Zander has always had that kind of outer shell, and because of that, he must have been kind of furious. And that's why he made this threatening gesture at Jake. Because, Zander has always been suspicious of Jake since the start. And, well, I don't think that's gonna change. Maybe around the end of the end of the episodes, or two-parters, maybe he will, maybe he won't, we don't know. Now, Luke, on the other hand, is way more calm and collected. He is always willing to give others a try, and that's why Luke was the very first person that kind of accepted him into the group, welcome to the club, baby. But I think this is also why Luke prevented Zander from going any further. Because if he didn't get involved, Zander probably would have punched him. Probably. He knows no one deserves a punch, but he's still obviously mad. So I think he'll be the first to forgive Jake. Because he's just too kind-hearted and nice and sweet and wonderful, right? So I kind of wanted to do Hailey and Scene together because Hailey isn't really much. She has already been dramaed and fleshed out enough that I don't really need to talk about her. But right now I think she just has a lot of conflicting emotions. She's probably way more sad than anyone else right now. And I think she'll be mad at Jake and do something extreme in episode 10. But there's really nothing else because her emotions are kind of just laid on the floor. You've already seen it. Like, it's there. It's laid down there, right? So, the last current music club member is Scene. He is easily the one who gets the least screen time. I mean, for God's sake, we didn't even see him during the most important scene. Anyway, Scene is closest to Mille, and most importantly, close to Daisy. He's also very calm and collected like Luke. However, him and Daisy have a very close friendship, or even romantic relationship with each other. Because, we obviously know that Jake's probably gonna get together with Hailey at the end. But, first Daisy. What's gonna happen to Daisy? He's probably gonna get with Scene. But, I think that's also the very main reason Jake, snapped. Because, they saw Scene and Daisy together, and then everyone pushed it. Everyone went too far, and then he just blew a gasket. But, I think Scene is gonna be the first to forgive Jake, because he's aware that it could be mainly his fault. He also knows that Jake is not like that. He knows because he's offered Scene a computer, and if he was pretending, he probably wouldn't have done that. Also, speaking of which, I wanted to talk about that episode just a little bit. Scene is just, he's so underrated. Because, we don't ever really get to see him. And even in his own goddamn episode, we didn't get to see really anything. So, that's devastating. That's sad. But, we're gonna do, an analysis of what Jake said now. Alright, so now we're going to do an analysis of exactly what Jake said. Now, I took everything from what Jake had said in that specific scene, and I put it into a transcript. From the specific words he was using to the way he was talking, he sounds like he was just angry, but he wasn't exactly thinking straight. It just seems more like he was just spilling words, as you can probably tell. Now, there are specific characters for specific roles in which, sometimes they, seem abusive, but they actually just wanted to protect you. You know, those classic scenes where they're, just angry and they actually don't mean it. You know, they're oh yeah, well, it's not like you actually cared about me or something. And then there's, some kind of miscommunication between the two characters. That's kind of what's going on here, except Jake's just doing that, but, in a recording. It's the same thing. It's, a misunderstanding. It's, why are you arguing? Just think straight. But Jake was not clearly thinking straight. Also, using the word stupid when you're angry probably means Jake didn't mean anything he said. The classic grateful trope is typically used after you say something bad. For an example, I can't believe you're using attitude. You should be grateful. You have a roof over your head and clothes on your back. Now, I'm going to say the last line. I'll let Jake do that. Do you see the tone? He clearly isn't thinking straight. But of course, the club doesn't see that. They need time to really think about it. But right now, their emotions are clouding their judgment. And of course, Zoey is glad. Now she can start rumors and drama and all that other stuff. And then I bet you that in the episode, they're gonna talk about how Zoey is like creating the drama and stuff. But anyway, now that we're done with the analysis, let's talk about Jake. Daisy. Just Daisy. The whole reason Jake joined in the first place. The reason this whole story is actually going into motion. Jake was wanting to impress her because Jake obviously has a crush on her, and she's more interested in Zine though. But she seems so stressed that she hasn't noticed how much of a crush Jake has on her. Daisy is very overwhelmed, and well, because she's valedictorian, she's a stereotypical popular girl, and Zine was there for her. Jake wasn't there for her. He just seemed like another boy that was trying to impress her. But, Zine was there. He was supporting her, which is something that Jake should have done from the start. That was just something that Jake should have done from the start. And that's how Zoey found out. She must have seen him and Daisy kind of being on a date. I also think she will be one of the very few people that will try to help Jake back on his feet and try to get him back into the club. The final character we are going to talk about is Jake. Now, I have been waiting for this one, and I'm pretty sure all of you guys have been waiting for this one. Jake is our main character, the protagonist, the one that we're supposed to root for. And yet, we still haven't seen his family. Like, what happened to his family? Is his family abusive? Like, is his family okay? I really hope we get to see the family, because my theory is that he doesn't have parents, because, like, where are they? Like, we should have been introduced to them by now. In all other stories that Rosie Closet has done, the parents were revealed in the first part. Or maybe, just maybe, he lives by himself, or there will be a backstory about his family, like, finally. Come to think of it, we don't know anything. We don't know anything about him until episode 7, despite him being the main character. But not only is he being manipulated, except for Henry and Andrew, I know that his friends would have accepted him, but Jake was too scared to find out. I think Jake was first abandoned by his parents and then rejected in school, so he was like too scared because Drew was all he had. I think this was similar for Drew because he was just showing Nintendo off to his friends. And speaking of which, I want to talk about that for a little bit. I feel like Drew is like so rich, he feels like he's gonna be used by his friends anyway, so he might as well just show off his money to everyone. And then he met Jake, and then Jake's the sweet guy, and then now he doesn't want to lose him because he feels like all of his other friends just use him for money or something. I'm not sure. And also in episode 5, when Drew's like confused, like, why isn't Zoey just using me for money? Because he thinks money's the only way out, when it's not. This is because he is the rich kid. And I think after he cheers up or gets better, he's gonna try to join the show. Or he'll do something about the music club relationships. Now we're gonna do some predictions.